We call ourselves Rethink Press, but we started back during the uprisings in the Arab world. I think a lot of us were watching Al Jazeera English, like many people have said, and we had this feeling that we wanted to do something to help out, but you know, we weren't going to get on planes to Cairo because I don't know how helpful I was anyway. So Al Jazeera put out this call to have, through Meetup, to have people meet and just talk about how to get Al Jazeera English on their TVs. And I think around the country there are about 400 meetups where people came together and they talked about what they could do. And we were one of this meetup, and we decided that we were excited about it, so we would just keep meeting and see what we could do for Al Jazeera. And so I have a couple things about what I think we can do and the role that we can play as people who don't work for Al Jazeera in promoting Al Jazeera. There's a few things we did already. Right after the kind of the momentum was still going, we organized a call-in day where we had people around the country call in and ask their cable companies for Al Jazeera English. But then in talking to people from Al Jazeera, because when we were doing this, eventually people from Al Jazeera came over and like, well, don't you want to talk to us about what you're doing to us on TV? And we're like, oh yeah, it's probably a good idea. And so they were saying, like, the call-in days are useful if you do it all around the country, but really what's more useful to them is you have kind of, you know, central, you know, different campaigns going on in different places where people really are informed about their cable companies, and they can get their, you know, they can say like, you know, this many people in New York called, like, and be kind of strategic about it. So moving forward, what we needed was people all around the country having their own sort of campaigns at their own local cable stations, like you can see in that video. And just a few things that you can provide that Al Jazeera English, I think, can provide is like kind of visibility. Like, it's really easy to say like, oh, we get these many hits on the internet and things like that, but if you have these events around the country where, or in your own communities where you have people come, or you record the event so you can show the cable companies, it makes these kind of more abstract numbers real, you know, like, and so one way that you can kind of even start now tonight is Amy there has a flip cam. So if you just want to come and say why you love Al Jazeera English, that's the kind of thing that makes these sort of campaigns real to cable companies. Another thing is, when you start your campaign, it's always important to like get people out and say how many people came. You know, like the Al Jazeera, the cable companies are going to want to know like who's watching and who will watch if they put it out there. So providing them with numbers is really important. I only have a few more things to say. So yeah, and also skill sharing, right? Like if we're having these events, if people around the country are calling for it, you don't want to be reinventing the wheel or reinventing the clever tweet or whatever the thing is you have to be reinventing. So that's an important thing too. And then just like a little bit about like what you can do. One thing that some people have done and we've seen be kind of effective is have like a call-in party where you can watch some Al Jazeera English and invite all your friends over and then have some pizza and then have them all call your cable company. This works really well on campuses too. Like college students are always very, very hungry, so if you have like a pizza somewhere, they probably will come and they'll call their cable companies. So if you're if you're only here for the summer, we definitely encourage you to go back home and start your own campaign and stay in touch with us, because we put together a lot of materials that are now in the folders that you guys have, and we can just keep giving you guys materials, and when other people in other cities develop good materials, we can share them so that we're all sharing materials. And if you're in DC, you can come to our meetings every week. We meet at 7 o'clock on Thursdays at Soho Coffee, which is 23rd and P Street. And it's a great time. Pardon me? In DuPont Circle. And yeah, we're going to have one more of these events in August, so if we can get as many of your friends out to that as well, we can even fill an even bigger room. So, all right, well, that's about it. Thank you for coming.